Camp Able Energy Check Panel. We have Ms. Claire Amy with the ABL State Office Team, Siobhan Blanchard, Ms. Falk, who is the founder of the nonprofit Blind Grace, Ms. Manuel, who is a certified teacher of the visually impaired, Ms. McKenzie is a middle school social studies teacher, Teresa Smith, the ABL vocational supervisor, and Camp Able campers, Dylan, Strider, Chloe, and Miranda.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out and joining us. We have a small video here to share with you guys and to show you guys what we were up to for the last week at camp. So here we go.
Camp Able Energy Check! Whoop, whoop! Backwards! Whoop, whoop! Woo!
The skills learned at Camp Able help encourage teenagers to become independent and employable. Campers worked on orientation and mobility skills such as cane travel, public transportation, and crossing streets. Pictured are our instructors and campers standing at a crosswalk on the corner of Johnston Street and St. Mary Boulevard. Campers are listening to traffic and waiting for the crosswalk signal to sound when it's time to safely cross. Campers are headed back from UL. Each camper practiced their cane skills, listening to traffic and crossing the street safely during their UL campus tour. While exploring the UL campus, campers and instructors paused for a couple of group pictures with the UL campus as their background. Pictures were also taken of campers and instructors looking over into Cypress Lake located on campus to check out the alligators that live there. O&M instructors took the campers to Walmart to practice using a cart with their long white canes and to shop for ingredients they would need for their recipes. Campers were also able to check out their items by themselves. In home and personal management, each camper got to choose 2 recipes to make. They had to write or braille each recipe and make a list of the ingredients needed. Ms. Manuel explains to campers how to use different adaptive aids to assist with cooking their recipes. Pictures show campers using different skills to make their recipe. Nolan seasons his chicken cutlet. Miranda uses her cell phone to help her read the back of her cake mix. Megan and Miranda smile as they stir their ingredients into bowls. Wendell chose to make pecan candy, and they look tasty. Dylan ices his sugar cookies while Strider admires his handiwork. Celine and Chloe listen to instructions. A pan of freshly baked brownies are ready to eat, while DeMonte adds his strawberry cake ingredients to a bowl and then mixes them. Affiliated Blind of Louisiana's job readiness instructor, Teresa Smith, leads the campers in discussions on how to look for jobs, how to apply for jobs, and how to advocate for themselves during the interview process. Mock interviews are a great way for campers to learn what to expect in a job interview. Financial advisor and LSVI alumni Gianni conducts interviews with each individual camper. Those kids now have the skills to pay the bills. Developing friendships, presenting yourself with good personal hygiene, and showing off. Each camper built strong relationships with each other throughout the week. After shopping at Candyland Cottage, the campers stopped to all pose together. Dressed wearing the same red shirts, Chloe, Miranda, and Celine also posed together for a picture. Did you say pizza and bingo? Campers enjoyed socializing with each other while eating delicious pizza and then got to play bingo for lots of different prizes. The best way to bond is over dessert at Froze Pop's Creamery and Shake. Nolan enjoyed the company of his buddies. Wendell loved his vanilla shake, and Strider ate all of his ice cream. Chloe and Miranda shared some Japanese sweet treats, while Celine had a shake. Megan and Dylan couldn't resist getting shakes with names like James Brownie or Oreo Juliet. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day for these campers, so they headed off to Mel's Diner. Campers and instructors couldn't help but smile as they sat in groups and waited for their orders. Chloe's pancakes were shaped into a mouse and looked super delicious. Camp wouldn't be complete without field trips. The first field trip of the week was at Zooziana. Campers posed with their long white canes before heading out and discovering the animals. Zooziana has made sure that the zoo is enjoyable to everyone and included tactile animals and braille signs throughout the zoo. Pictured here are an alligator, kangaroo, spider monkey, tiger, and peacock. Miranda feels the tiger while Emily reads the braille. Trey felt the bricks shaped into a peacock. Talk about tactile. Zooziana has a petting zoo, and Wendell and Strider made friends with one of the goats. All aboard? Who's coming aboard? The new train is up and working at Zooziana, and our campers needed a nice break from the walk. The train's conductor even blew the whistle for Trey 3 times. Everyone had a chance to shop independently at the gift shop. Megan found a fox and parrot she just had to bring home, while Chloe shopped around. Megan checks out a zebra and Dylan a big plush snake, but nothing beats the ginormous stuffed tiger Wendell found. These campers took their mobility skills to new heights as they climbed up rock walls and jumped on trampolines at Epic Entertainment. Check out this video as Nolan jumps on a trampoline with a harness and does a front and back flip.
Woo! Do it, flip it, yeah! All right, now let me be quiet and do it. Backflip. Yes!
3 of our campers, Megan, Celine, and Trey, enjoyed winning tickets while playing arcade games. Megan won 225 tickets, Celine won 550 tickets, and Trey 350 in one particular game. Each camper was able to trade in their tickets for fun prizes, making them, in Trey's word, champions. With a little guidance, these campers hit the bowling alley at Acadiana Lanes. Wendell, Megan, Celine, Chloe, and Nolan were all super excited to bowl, and their smiles showed it. This upcoming video shows Nolan bowling with the help of one of our volunteers, Elijah. Wendell, Nolan, DeMonte, and Dylan were on a team and had a friendly competition with the other team, Strider, Chloe, Celine, and Megan. Megan got her very first strike ever, and Chloe had the overall highest score with 101 points. Check out this video of Strider, who is wearing his new shirt from Rue 21, where each camper got to shop with personal shoppers to find their very own style.
You got yourself a spare?
Yep.
That's awesome. Oh, you're wearing your new shirt too.
Huh?
You're wearing your new shirt.
Yeah.
I like it. You like your new shirt?
I love it. It's my new favorite shirt.
Awesome.
We celebrated each of our campers' achievements by having a graduation celebration. As a special surprise, Miss Fanny Swallow, an ABL chapter member and friend, made a fabulous cake with blue, red, and yellow fondant letters that spelled out "Congratulations, Camp Able graduates," with a matching graduation cap. Each camper was recognized individually. Camp instructors and counselors took turns telling stories about each camper and their achievements and how they had grown during their time at camp. Then other campers joined in and talked about how they enjoyed their time with each other. In these pictures are Siobhan and Blanche standing with different campers. First camper shown is Chloe, then Celine, and then Megan. These girls became best of friends and stay in touch as often as they can. These pictures show Siobhan and Blanche with DeMonte and then Trey. Both of these gentlemen are now attending Affiliated Blind of Louisiana's Training Center and are working on their blindness skills every day to become independent and employed. These pictures feature Siobhan and Blanche with first Wendell, then Nolan. Wendell will be starting his first year at LSVI this August, where he will meet up with some of his camp friends. Nolan enjoyed camp. He was able to do things he hadn't done since he started losing his sight. Nolan showed great maturity and will make an excellent Camp Able counselor one day. These pictures show Siobhan and Blanche standing with first Strider and then Dylan on graduation day. Strider's smile and positive attitude was always contagious. He will also be attending LSVI in the fall. Dylan loved to share a good country song with his camp friends and has shown off his new independent living skills at home. Camp may be over, but the skills learned, friends made, and all the memories will last a lifetime. We are all looking forward to Camp Able 2023.
Goes on and on, everybody on. Strangers waiting up and down the boulevard. Their shadows searching in the night. Camp Able energy check.
All right, so now we're going to hear from Miss Blanche Falk about how Camp Able got started.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Claire and Siobhan. That video was absolutely amazing. And it pretty much sums up our wonderful week and how such it was just a special treat to have all these kids with us. So a little bit about how in the world Camp Able got started. So for those of you that do not know me, my name is Blanche Falk. I've been in the O&M VI field for about 20 years now. And Blind Grace is something that's kind of just been on my heart for a little while. And I decided in January that I was going to go ahead and file the paperwork. And then in February, I went to Miss Siobhan and Claire and I said, okay, I want to do some more things for the kids. I want to do some amazing things. I really want to put a camp together. Can we do it here? And she was like, well, the ironic thing is we've always wanted to do a camp here. We just didn't have the resources. Are the people or the volunteers? And I said, okay, we're going to do this. And so we in April pretty much announced Blind Grace. And really the rest is history. We decided to go ahead and do a VI Family Fun Day. And we went around the entire state and we raised money. When we had started out, we were just going to have 8 campers and we raised enough money to have 12. We ended up having 10 in attendance, and it was just absolutely to see this come to light in such a short period of time. Siobhan and I still laugh, but usually something like this takes a good year for me to plan. And we threw it together in 2 months, and it's just absolutely been amazing just to see all of the things that have unfolded. And truly we're just honored and blessed to have everybody on here to talk a little bit about it. So I'm going to go ahead next and I'm going to introduce Miss Siobhan. So a little fun fact for everybody. Yes, I said fun fact. That was a joke that was throughout camp that they said, Miss Blanche, you say that too much. And then it did become a joke. So I met Siobhan back in 2003. I was an intern at Affiliated Blind of Louisiana, an undergrad. And I was able to work with them throughout the whole entire training center and Project Cope. And she has truly just been a mother to me. And so it's been very exciting to be able to kind of full circle and be back and work with them. So I'm going to go ahead and let her introduce herself.
Woohoo! All right. Thank you, Blanche. Guys, I am Siobhan Blanchard, and I am the state coordinator for Affiliated Blind of Louisiana. And as Blanche mentioned, this was just a blessing. It was an opportunity that we seized and took advantage of and just really made happen, which was amazing. We have so many wonderful community partners who got together to help us make this happen. Affiliated Blind Louisiana has always wanted to have what we call a transition camp. So the transition camp is for teenagers between the ages of 15 and 20 or 21 years old. And we want to start to prepare them for pre-employment, to get them ready to get out there and be employed, whether they know that they need to come to a training center, like Affiliated Blind of Louisiana's training center, whether they are going to transition into college, where they want to go directly into employment. We want to help them make those decisions along the way and help them realize the steps that they need to take to make that happen. One of the most important parts about this transition camp and what we wanted to make happen was the social aspect. We always talk about, job transitions and being able to write a good resume, do a good interview. What are the steps that you have to take to be employed? And here at Affiliated Blind, we feel that the social skills are a huge part of that. You have to become comfortable with who you are, where you are with your blindness. You need to be comfortable enough to be able to let people know about your disability and be assertive and be able to self-advocate. So that was a huge part of what we wanted to happen in this transition camp. And again, all the pieces just came together with the assistance of Blanche Falk and Blind Grace and these wonderful teachers from Louisiana School for the Visually Impaired. We were able to make this happen. I do want to give a really big shout out to our community partners. If it wasn't for our Affiliated Blind of Louisiana chapter members, if it wasn't for Louisiana Council for the Blind, Louisiana AER, again, Blind Grace and Stellar Family Foundation, and even LWCC, they all came in and pitched in to help us make this happen. So again, woohoo! Thank you so much to our community partners. We appreciate everything you have done. And now we're going to give it on over to some of the instructors. And we hope you guys enjoy this presentation. And thank you so much for being here today.
All right, Miss Sandra Emanuel, if you wouldn't mind unmuting, can you talk to us a little bit about independent living skills that you taught the kids?
Hi, sure. Well, first of all, just to introduce myself, my name is Sandra Emanuel. I'm a TVI at LSVI. Worked there about 7 years now. So the camp, it was great. I'm so thankful that everybody asked me to be a part of it. Let's see, the students, they were excited for the opportunity to learn VI specific lessons, things specifically for them. Most mornings I was teaching our students about cooking. We started out each deciding on 2 dishes they wanted to prepare that they were likely to want to prepare at some point again in the future. And they picked everything. We had them picking everything from a salad or a pizza to slide in the oven, all the way to chicken parmesan and cookies from scratch. So we got everything on the list. So once they picked what they wanted, they had to come up with their ingredient list, things that they thought they needed to be able to cook. For example, if it was a boxed cake mix, well, what has to go with that? We need oil, we need eggs, things like that. And so they had to create their shopping lists, because the next day on to Walmart we went, where they had to actually do the shopping. Unfortunately, Walmart didn't have enough people to give all of our students personal shoppers, but we did the best we could, and we broke the kids up into groups, and each of the adults acted as the personal shoppers. I think this was probably a pretty good lesson for them, because I know, especially for the ones that I went with, we got to the ingredient they wanted and there were a million questions I asked them, just like a personal shopper would. Oh, you need icing for the cake. What brand do you want? Do you want Duncan Hines, Pillsbury, Betty Crocker? What are we doing? What flavor? Do you want whipped or do you want traditional? So they had to learn a whole bunch of things. They learned things like even just grabbing ground meat. There's ground round, there's ground chuck. How much fat do we need? Do we need lean? So they got a lot of questions there. And I think that's probably something all students need, not just ours. But finally we came to the time to cook, and they had some of our students had to go all the way to the basics. How to turn on the oven, how to be safe putting something in the oven. Others were on the stove learning how to use a talking thermometer to make sure their chicken was cooked. So we had all kinds of skill levels, and I think we did pretty good job meeting every skill level and trying to bring them up from where they were at. I think and it was a great experience. The students seemed to have a lot of fun. They enjoyed what they were cooking. They got a glow about them and this extra confidence when people were tasting their foods and telling them how great it was. And I think they were really proud of themselves, which they absolutely should have been, because they did spectacular. So overall, I dealt mostly with cooking, and I really, truly believe in my heart that this camp, even all the other aspects, not just mine, I truly believe they were all very beneficial to these students. And I really look forward to hopefully getting to help again in 2023. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Ms. Manuel, for that. And I think we would like to hear from one of our campers, Mr. Strider. Strider, can you tell me about your experience during your independent living skills class?
Oh, it was a lot of fun. I know the two recipes that I made were a cheese sauce pasta and a potato salad, which they turned out amazing. Beat my mom and her mom's recipes, so that was cool. And I think that independent living skills was a very good idea to have, because people need to learn this. Like, whenever they go out into the world, they need to be able to do all these things. That way they could cook, and that way they don't end up starving. So that was a great experience, of a well-needed, very great experience. But as much as it was needed, that's how much fun it was.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Strider.
You're
All
welcome.
right. Right next, we're going to be hearing from Miss Teresa Smith with her job readiness skills that she taught.
Okay. On the first day, we went over the whole process of looking for a job, applying for a job, and getting a job. All of the campers were very interested in that. We talked about what kind of things that they wanted to do in the world of work. And we had some that were unsure, but we had some of our campers who knew what they wanted to do and what they were going to major in college to be able to make that happen. We had Chloe, who we called Ash, that wants to be a forensic scientist and be like a CSI. And we had Miranda, who wants to work with animals. So we had a lot of discussion on what they would need to do to make that happen, what kinds of classes they would need to take. We also did some resume writing, which was a lot of fun. We had a lot of creativity, because they did not have to write a resume for themselves. They could write a resume for whomever they wanted to write a resume for. And Dylan was quite creative and made a resume for George Washington, using much correct information too for George Washington. And then we had some make resumes as though they had finished college and what their degrees were in. And so it was a lot of fun, but honestly, nobody really knew what went on a resume before we started that discussion and then did the resume writing activity. So it was, I believe, a good experience for everyone, including me, because I learned so much from all of the campers. They were just quite enthusiastic and very, very happy they were to absorb the information. So it was quite fun. And I definitely hope that 2023 brings us another group of campers, and I definitely want to be a part of that. It was just amazing.
Thank you so much, Miss Teresa. I appreciate you. All right, Dylan, tell us about this job readiness resume you made on George Washington, and please don't forget to unmute yourself.
Yeah, it was really fun doing that. I was able to sneak in a bunch of jokes. Like his phone number was 1-800-174-1776. It was really funny, but and then I was but okay, so I was able to. It was yeah. Okay, so I was able. This was really good for me to go to. I was able to learn a lot of stuff about what job I would want to go to, how to go, and what it was expected of me in the workforce, all this stuff. I had a blast writing that resume, and I had a blast at the camp. It was really great.
Thank you so much, Dylan, for sharing with us. I appreciate it. All right, next up, we have Miss Blanche Falk again to talk about orientation and mobility.
Absolutely. I just want to say how proud I am of these campers. For those of y'all that don't know them personally, it's kind of a full circle. I started with some of these kids and they were babies, and some of them just graduated, and it was just such an amazing thing to have them once they graduated to become part of Camp Able. So it's pretty amazing. And I know a couple of them on here are a little bit nervous, and I'm just so incredibly proud of them because I know it takes a lot of courage to come on here and talk about. So as Siobhan mentioned earlier, we decided to throw this camp together, and for kids that are visually impaired, there's something called the expanded core curriculum. And that is something that really just takes it a step further for these kids. And, I was truly trying to figure out a way to cram everything in within a week, because everyone has really just missed out on so much the last couple of years. And so one of the really important things is orientation mobility. And one of the biggest misconceptions, I'll say it again, is everyone thinks that when you say someone's visually impaired or blind, they are blind and they can't see and they don't have vision. And so, some of the kids on here may have a cane that they use all the time, and then some of them may have a cane that they don't use all the time. And so for orientation mobility, if you're not sure what that is, it's basically figuring out where you are in space and then learning how to travel independently to get from A to B, whether that's with a cane or device, or, using what usable vision we had. And so we were very, very fortunate. We had some pretty amazing weather, except for one day we couldn't go on the trail, but we were able to go and cross streets. Affiliated Blind is just a couple of blocks from UL's campus. And what's really neat about UL's campus is they actually have audible pedestrian signals. And so they actually have the birds that chirps whenever they tell you to cross the street. And so we were able to go do that. I made him go all over campus trying to find my brick of when I graduated. We were able to do that. We got to go and find the giant concrete balls in front of the library, and I made them all sit on there and take pictures, and they had a lot of fun with that. But as y'all got to see earlier, Nolan overcame some of his fears, and he got to jump in a circle, and we actually got to climb to towers. And then we got to do grocery shopping, which was a lot of fun. And so he's not on here, but Trey, one of his ultimate favorite things was getting on a city bus. Now, if you ask some of the panelists, they might say, I don't know about waiting 45 to 50 minutes on a bus, but that is real life. Sometimes that happens. And so we actually got to ride the bus. We got to go to the mall. We got to go, as y'all saw, we did eat a lot. We had lots of treats and all kinds of stuff, but really we were able to use our cane skills and kind of cram everything in, because these are campers from all over the state, and some of them are in a little bit more of a rural area and they don't have public transportation. So it was really neat to be able to come and use all of our cane skills. And even though you didn't use a cane all the time, like, everyone supported each other. Anytime anybody was nervous or didn't want to use their cane, we were able to all come together and do that. So it was really neat. Like I said, one of my favorite videos that we did is we actually crossed across UL's campus, and it's a really funky crossing because the street itself is actually little brick pavers. And so if you were not paying attention, you would have had no clue that it was actually a street. And so we all crossed at the same time. And I'm gonna pick on Miss McKenzie for a second, but we were all crossing at the same time. And she was like, is this how you do this? I was like, no, you shouldn't all cross at the same time. But we did. We were able to all cross in sync and kind of cross back. But it was really neat to see some of the kids that have had a cane since they were little and have been part of orientation mobility training from the beginning. And they were able to teach some of the other campers and say, oh, this is how I do it with my cane, or this is, how I cross, or how, I listen and stuff like that. So like I said, orientation mobility is a huge thing. Obviously, it's a very important skill for kiddos. And so it was just really neat to be able to use all different training for the kids and do it out in Lafayette.
Well, thank you so much, Miss Blanche, for sharing. Chloe, would you mind talking with us a little bit about your experience with orientation and mobility?
So basically, I think it was really important that we were able to have to always have our canes by our side, no matter what. They had that in place. And I think it was very important because I am partially sighted, so I still have vision left. And whenever I first started using my cane only a few months before camp, I wasn't very confident, and I had a lot of mishaps where I wasn't using it properly, or I would be too scared to use it, and then I'd end up like tripping. And I think that this experience, having to use it that whole week, it made me a lot more confident in my orientation and mobility skills, because I had to have it everywhere we went, in public, always. And like, no matter what, we always had to have it. So, and hearing from everyone else and, listening to like how people would use it or their tips on how to use it, it made me feel a lot better. And being with a group of people who all had canes, it made me feel a lot more confident, because I wasn't the only one, and I didn't look weird, or I didn't feel weird. And it just made me feel like this is a natural thing. This isn't something that I should be ashamed of, and it's something I should embrace and be proud of.
Wow, Chloe, thank you so much for sharing. That was very important. Thank you. All right, up next we have Miss Katie McKenzie, and she's going to be speaking on epic entertainment, goal ball, and social growth.
Katie McKenzie. I'm actually the social studies teacher at LSVI. First of all, Ms. Manuel is amazing, because I can remember getting there. One of the campers was supposed to wash a dish, and you're supposed to, and I was like, I don't know how to explain how to wash a dish, but it was interesting. But epic was epic. What amazed me most about it, and that was my voice with Nolan, they had these, you climb them, and they put a harness on the kids and everything. But what amazed me was they were poof up, no time at all. When Deldrick was insanely just, it was crazy. All of them, it was amazing. I'm also very grateful to have had this experience, because I loved every second. Each one of the kids, we made a bond with each of them. Everyone who works at ABL was amazing. Miss Teresa, everybody was amazing. Goal ball, we actually do that at LSVI. Coach isn't here, but she's amazing. I mean, she had a quick, just woo, straight lines, everything. And usually kind of referee to what I love goal ball. I'm more of a cheerleader, I guess, but it was amazing. Now the social growth, I don't want to tear up or anything, but so when we first got there, I can remember stepping into the hallway and all the kids had just woke up from family VI day, right? And so they're opening their doors and they're like, "Ugh." But that day we were going to Louisiana, which was amazing. And just thinking about that first day to like the end, the bonds made were incredible. Like I'm looking at their faces right now, making, oh, I miss you guys. And just everything was amazing. And I just like everyone else can't wait till 2023. It was absolutely phenomenal experience.
Thanks, Miss Mackenzie, so much for sharing with us. Miranda, do you want to talk a little bit about your social skills and stuff that you learned and what other things that you liked and enjoyed?
Sure. So, hi. So what I found most amazing out of everything, and it was my favorite part of camp, was, like it was stated earlier, the transformation from perfect strangers at the beginning of the week to the bonds and friends that we made. Because like being in school or, out in the community, you don't see too many other blind people. You don't, like, you feel like you're the only one. You feel like it's unnatural because everyone else around you is different. So being at a camp with people with similar conditions as yourself, it really brings you close together in a way that nothing else really can do.
Right. Thank you so much. Okay. I just wanted to know, do we have any comments or anything from any of our parents of the campers? Anybody want to say anything? All right. Do we have any questions?
There was a question in the chat that said, I'm sorry, a question in the Q&A that said, like education, you can teach skills at camp, but you need support from home to reinforce lessons. Does the program involve the families in supporting these lessons at home?
Siobhan, would you like to take that?
We always want to involve the families in everything that we do. Part of our program is a follow-up. So we do, we're going to visit with the campers 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days after the program, and continue to involve them in programs for Affiliated Blind. In October, at the end of October, Affiliated Blind of Louisiana has a convention, a state convention coming up. And there we will have reunions and time and programs with the families of the campers and invite them all to come back and be part of those ongoing programs. So yes, we love to have family involvement. And if any of the parents are on and they'd like to say anything, we'd love to give you the opportunity.
Hi. Hello, my name is Mindy Laverne. I am Strider's mother. I didn't realize I was gonna be talking today, so sorry. But I would just like to say I've known Javon for years at the ABL, and also Blanche is always amazing. Whenever we have questions regarding anything with visual impairment skills, whether it's Braille, cane, or just simply how to do a day-to-day activity, they are always available to us. And even Claire, she's amazing as well. We can call them, we can text them, we can email them. There's Facebook groups, we can, post comments. So as far as ongoing continual support, these women are amazing. And the work that they do is so beautiful and wonderful. As a parent going through, this is going to be Strider's year at going to LSVI in Baton Rouge, but we've been in the schools, in the public school system, since he was 3, and it's hard to get good blindness skills and good mentorships through that sector. So they've always been there for us to answer any questions and to fill in any gaps that we might have. And I would just like to say, from a parent standpoint, thank you so much, all of you, for all the beautiful work that you do. This work is so important and amazing. And we're here to support with whatever you need. You definitely have parent support and praise. Thank you.
Thank you, Mindy. Anyone else?
We also have some comments. Isn't this amazing? Go ABL and Blind Grace. This is so nice. Awesome job, camp. Awesome, great job, campers.
Those are wonderful comments. Thank you so much. Miss Blanche? Oh, you muted.
Yes. Hey, I just wanted to reiterate, thank you, Mindy, so much for sharing. I know some of the other parents have not hopped on, but I have to commend some of the parents, even the ones that are not on here. This was the first time for some of them to, as I mentioned earlier, I've been very fortunate. I've had some of these babies since they were 3. So it was a different, a different scenario when, they dropped them off this time. But some of the parents that have actually dropped off their kiddos who had just graduated high school, some of those kids had never left home, and so it was much as a growing experience for the kids as it was for the parents. And so one of the things that I just want to say is we've been pretty fortunate enough where we've been able to connect with these families early on. Sometimes we get a kid that's visually impaired later in life, and so we get to, connect with them a little bit later. And so, yes, as they mentioned, it's just going to be an ongoing thing. We're going to continue to be able to have more events with these kids. As we mentioned, we had VI Family Fun Day first, which then kicked off this camp. But we're going to continue to have events and have reunions and have stuff, so that we can continue to spread awareness and spread the word, for people that are visually impaired and their families.
All right. Any other questions?
I see we have Leona Harris has her hand raised. I had advised to put in the chat, but I can move her over if we have a panelist. Oh, Miranda.
Just have to, there you go.
Not Miranda. I'm Miranda's mom. We have known Aunt since Miranda was 3, and she's tapping me because I always get mushy. But she's been great. She's been a great help to us. Miranda's been going to LSBI. She started with summer camps since she's 3. They have been amazing. She went every summer except probably through COVID. And then she did ABL camp, Camp Able, which was great. The independence that these kids learn is amazing. And it's invaluable. You can't, you don't get that anywhere else. School systems are great when they work for you. We have been very blessed. Our school, we're in Belchase, and they were great with us, but not everybody is that fortunate. So to have this type of camp is just invaluable to a lot of kids. So I'm always here to support them. They were always there to support me. I appreciate everything y'all do. And thanks.
Thank you for sharing. I see Dylan has his hand up.
Yes, it's his mom, Michelle. We're on vacation, so we're sitting here in the car. I just wanted to say thank you to all the counselors also. We do not live in a parish that is has acceptable education for blind children. I have homeschooled him since he became blind. I homeschooled him before, but when we went to the school to see what they were offering, they said he didn't need Braille, that he would be able to do everything accessible through an iPhone, which they would not provide any devices for him to learn on. They would be something we would all have to purchase ourselves. And in that point, why not homeschool him ourselves? So we have taught him Braille. And there's things I've fallen short on. And I appreciate each and every one of you, because you are not only teaching him, but you are teaching us parents also. We're kind of doing this, I guess you would say blindly, but we appreciate everything that you guys did at camp. And I want to say my child cooked us jambalaya way better than I did. Mine was crunchy, he said. So he now is in the kitchen by himself, and he's chopping and cooking. And although he used an Instant Pot all in one, and he didn't have as much of a mess as I did, I think it was wonderful. And I just thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for sharing. Right. Any other questions?
We do have a comment from Cynthia. Thank you for sharing, parents. The audience appreciates your experiences.
Yes, thank you, parents. Thank you so much. All right, Ms. Siobhan, it looks like we're out of questions or comments. Do you want to wrap us up?
Sure. Again, I just want to thank everyone for being here and joining us today and learning about Camp Able. Affiliated Blind of Louisiana was so glad and so proud to host, along with Blind Grace, our first transition camp. We're hoping this is the first of many. We are just super excited about the wonderful relationships that these kids made during camp. Really feel like one of the most important parts about camp was the whole mentorship part of camp. They were all able to help each other. Everybody was at different skill levels and different degrees of blindness. They all shared and prepared together. Everything from their living skills and learning how to be independent at home to learning a little bit about pre-employment and where they wanted to be in their future. It just all rolled up into an amazing experience. So thank you to the campers who were here today, to the parents, to all of the teachers, everyone who participated. Again, I want to give a great big shout out to our Affiliated Blind of Louisiana family, all of our chapter members and groups who assisted with sponsoring and making this happen. So again, a big shout out to Solar Family Foundation, to Louisiana Council for the Blind, to LWCC. We could not have done this without all of you. If you have any questions or need any more information about Camp Able, or want to find out more about the services that Affiliated Blind of Louisiana provides, we would be glad to talk to you. You can call us at 337-234-6492, or you can stop by our website at affiliatedblind.org, and we'll be glad to help you with anything we can. Again, thank you guys, and we hope you enjoyed the presentation.
Thank you, everyone. Great presentation. Really appreciate you guys getting on and sharing this experience and giving us this perspective of this experience. And thank you to our interpreters. Great job. We appreciate your service today. And this is the end of the first day. We still have 3 days left, and I think the sessions in the next 3 days will be just as good as the ones we've had today. And so please join us for the next 3 days of sessions. We'll see you all tomorrow at 9 a.m. Thanks.
Bye, campers. Bye, parents. Thanks, teachers.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.